The commonly accepted perception of video games as an art form seldom goes further than blockbuster franchises. Shooting bad guys and driving fast cars is all this medium amounts to in the eyes of many, and you could certainly be forgiven for holding that view since Call of Duty tops the sales charts every year and Gran Turismo is one of PlayStation's best-selling IPs. But in truth, games hold the same potential as any other visual medium, to convey important messages with elegance and grace, and to move the viewer. If there's one thing JETT the Far Shore does exceptionally well, it's this. It's perhaps beneficial to go into JETT without any preconceptions of the journey you'll be embarking on. My first hours with the game were awash with confusion about my surroundings and what I was tasked with doing, while also being drip-fed context for these actions. Scouring this new land, inspecting its elements, and dissecting my surroundings was an experience well translated from my character to myself. Eventually, I figured out the mission my band of scouts had been tasked with, to go ahead and forge a path for the colonization of this new frontier. And it's that idea that the game plays with throughout its moderate 8 to 10 hour story. Should humanity strive to continue on amongst the stars, bursting through any obstacle in its way no matter the cost, or should it fade away, ignoring its ambition while avoiding the abuse of foreign lands? It certainly answers these questions with a level of grace and maturity infrequently seen in the video game medium, while also leaving enough wiggle room for the player's own interpretation. That's one of the things I find most alluring about JETT, in conjunction with its refined take on the sci-fi genre through an elegant art style and well-realised lore, which concerns a culture not far from our own but with enough differences to be compelling. Those elements alone could be enough to carry my interest, but what seems to get its hooks in me the most is the harmoniously poignant soundtrack. So many of its moments are not only carried by, but elevated to new heights by its beautiful score. Moments like the drama of a sudden ambush, or the serenity of reprieve when our character finally makes it back to ground control after a grueling few days outside, are only made what they are by the epic tones of JETT's OST. Through the use of unique instruments and melodies, the game borrows most of its impact from its musical tracks, emboldening the experience and giving new life to its gameplay. That said, if you're in the market for a story-first experience and aren't too concerned with the intricacies of a dozen game mechanics, you'll be served absolutely fine. Flying around in the JETT is a simple experience, but not one without merit. Gliding across the gorgeous environments is a tranquilizing experience, one which harkens back to the simple joy of sliding down sand dunes in that game company's magnum opus, Journey. Similarly to Journey, JETT also features a looming sun beating down on the player. This one, however, is far more volatile and, come time for the gloaming, will deteriorate the JETT shield over time unless you find a moment's respite in the shade. This gameplay offers moments of tension which, along with some moments of light combat, offer variety to the well-paced experience. The game offers combat encounters aplenty once it gets going, though they rarely amount to more than a quick button press to deter relentless pursuers. On the occasion the combat evolves into something more, it's easy to tell the experience isn't built for it. I think that's okay though. It makes sense that surrounded by a narrative where violence is a last resort and an act our characters take regret over, it wouldn't be a focus. What seems far more important to my eye are the ramifications for such dire resorts, and in those, the story finds much of its weight. Granted, it is a slow burn, but despite a slightly abrupt ending, it felt worthy of every minute of my time. I adored learning about the culture of its characters and discovering this new land alongside them. The moment-to-moment gameplay is satisfying in a way that didn't ask much from me, and with the aid of a brilliant score, it excels at building drama in a way that kept me engaged throughout. If you want a sci-fi package that is genuinely fun and truly unique, few have done it better.